Look, if you're tuning into this right now, there is a very good chance you are operating in pure survival mode. You're waking up exhausted, you're pushing through that 3 p.m. brain fog with way too much caffeine, and then you're collapsing into bed only to find your mind is just racing. It's this constant state of high alert that has somehow become our modern baseline. Well, in this explainer, we are going to unpack exactly what is happening inside your biology, and more importantly, how you can actually break free from this relentless cycle. Because it really is the defining question of our generation, isn't it? Why are we always so exhausted? We try to sleep more, we download all the meditation apps, we obsess over every little thing we eat, and yet that chronic stress and mental fatigue, it just sticks around. To solve this modern physiological mystery, we have to look way past the surface level symptoms and actually examine the absolute core of our body's operating system. Which brings us to part 1, the cost of survival. Okay, let's dive into this because the very first thing we need to understand is how our modern lifestyles are quite literally biologically hijacking our bodies. We're essentially running this ancient evolutionary survival program in a world that just never powers down. Now, our autonomic nervous system is beautifully designed with 2 main gears. On one side, we have the sympathetic nervous system. Think of this as your biological gas pedal. It triggers your fight or flight response, flooding you with adrenaline and cortisol so you can survive an immediate threat. But then, on the exact opposite side is the parasympathetic nervous system, your internal brake pedal. This is your rest and digest mode. It's responsible for cellular repair, slowing down your heart rate, and actually bringing you back to a stable state of calm. But here's the massive problem. Our bodies simply cannot tell the difference between a life-threatening predator and, say, an overflowing email inbox. So in our go, go, go world, our foot is permanently slammed on that biological gas pedal. And when you are stuck in a state of chronic stress like that, your body is literally forced to prioritize short-term survival over long-term restoration. You're burning through all your resources without ever allowing that brake pedal to engage and actually rebuild your reserves. Let's move on to part 2, meet your second brain. To truly heal this burnout, we actually have to look past the mind and dive deep into the digestive system. We really need to introduce a massive paradigm shift here. Your gut is way, way more than just a processing tube for the food you eat. Tucked away inside the walls of your digestive tract is the enteric nervous system. And get this, it contains an astonishing 500 million neurons. That is a massive number. It's so vast and so deeply complex that scientists literally refer to it as the second brain. This neural network is so powerful, it can actually operate totally independently of your central nervous system, managing this incredibly sophisticated array of chemical and electrical signals all on its own. And this next point brilliantly illustrates just how powerful that second brain truly is. Take serotonin, for example. We all know it as the crucial neurotransmitter responsible for stabilizing your mood, your sleep, and just your general feelings of well-being. Well, a staggering 90% of your body's serotonin is manufactured not in your head, but right there in your gut. Let that sink in. Your entire emotional baseline is quite literally being assembled down in your digestive tract. So, this brings us to the gut-brain axis. Think of it as the bidirectional communication superhighway that connects your gut and your central nervous system. They are in a constant, real-time conversation. If your gut microbiome is this inflamed, stressed-out metropolis, it is going to send blaring alarm signals straight up to your brain. And your brain, it feels that chaos as anxiety, brain fog, and intense fatigue. Honestly, you just cannot have a calm, focused mind if you have a stressed, inflamed gut. They are an absolute package deal. Which leads perfectly into part 3, the diet culture trap. Now, this brings us to a massive, critical obstacle in our wellness journey, and that is diet culture. It operates as this pervasive system that falsely equates thinness with holistic health, completely ignoring the complex realities of human physiology. It slaps arbitrary moral labels onto our food, calling things good, bad, or, a guilty pleasure. This completely normalizes severe deprivation. It forces us to skip essential nutrients our bodies desperately need for energy, and it just fosters this constant, exhausting hum of guilt, anxiety, and obsessive tracking. The rigid rules and aesthetic pressures of modern diet culture don't actually make us healthier. They literally trigger our body's evolutionary alarm system. I want you to really, truly let this thought sink in. If food choices are stressing you out, you most certainly are stressing your gut out too. When you approach eating with fear, with extreme rigidity, or just intense anxiety about rules and calories, you are slamming your foot right back onto that sympathetic gas pedal. You are literally damaging your own mind-body connection in the pursuit of some artificial standard of wellness. And physiologically, the consequences of this stress are incredibly immediate. When your brain senses a threat, even if that threat is just anxiety over eating a carbohydrate, it pulls blood flow and oxygen straight away from your digestive organs and diverts them to your muscles so you can physically fight or flee. This effectively shuts down proper digestion. Your stomach just stops producing the necessary acid and enzymes, which leads to bloating, indigestion, and a complete inability to absorb the nutrients you actually need to recover. All right, moving into part 4, the built-in braking system. But don't worry, because there is a physiological hero in this story. Your body comes fully equipped with an incredible mechanism designed to rescue you from this chronic sympathetic dominance, turn off all those alarm bells, and actually heal the gut. Meet the vagus nerve. This is the master controller of your parasympathetic nervous system. It's essentially an information superhighway that wanders from your brainstem all the way down through your heart, your lungs, and deep into your gut. It is the primary physical channel that your brain uses to signal your body that the threat has finally passed, that you are at last safe to relax. So the crucial point here is that vagal stimulation isn't just about feeling calm in your mind. It's applied biology that actively rebuilds your body. When the vagus nerve is activated, your heart rate naturally slows down. Blood immediately returns to your stomach and intestines. Essential digestive acids are suddenly produced to break down your food properly. And incredibly, it even signals your immune cells to reduce the production of inflammatory proteins. We are talking about true cellular level healing here. So how do we do it? That's part 5, rewiring your stress response. Now that we know the science, how do we actually put it to use? Well, we need to actively train that vagal brake pedal. And honestly, the best news here is that regulating your nervous system absolutely does not require expensive gadgets, an hour of deep meditation, or some drastic lifestyle overhaul. Not at all. It's about small, intentional consistencies rather than extreme intensity. It's just about learning how to consciously activate your internal all-clear signal, which makes it incredibly accessible, even if your daily schedule is absolute chaos. One of the absolute fastest ways to hit the brakes is through diaphragmatic breathing. You see, short, shallow chest breaths keep you totally locked in fight or flight, but deep, slow belly breathing mechanically stimulates the vagus nerve right where it passes through your diaphragm. That slow, intentional movement physically massages the nerve, sending a powerful biological signal of safety straight up to your brain. Beyond just breathing, you can also use sound, gentle vibration, and brief cold exposure as instant biological reset buttons. Because the vagus nerve is actually wired to your vocal cords, simple acts like humming a low note, singing in the shower, or even gargling water create vibrations that directly stimulate it. Similarly, splashing freezing cold water on your face for just 30 seconds triggers this rapid physiological shift, completely forcing the parasympathetic system to jump in and calm everything down. So let's see how this all builds into a highly practical lifestyle optimization matrix that honestly takes almost no time at all. We're talking 2 to 5 minutes of belly breathing, just 1 to 2 minutes of humming while you make your morning coffee, 30 seconds of cold water on your face. By just sprinkling these tiny, manageable moments of calm throughout your day, you are actively toning your vagus nerve and building profound emotional and physical resilience. It's that simple. And finally, part 6, healing the mind-body connection. As we continuously strengthen that vagal tone and slowly pull ourselves out of chronic survival mode, we can finally begin the real work, actually healing the mind-body connection. This is exactly where the neurology of the gut meets the psychology of true sustainable wellness. We basically have to make a choice between 2 completely different operating systems. On one side, we have the toxic diet culture we discussed earlier, driven entirely by external rules, tracking, guilt, and anxiety. But on the other side is intuitive eating, which relies purely on your internal somatic cues. It's about trusting the profound wisdom of those 500 million enteric neurons, moving toward genuine body neutrality, and actually listening to what your biology is asking for. When your gut-brain axis is finally repaired and working in harmony, you can clearly hear your true physical hunger cues. These aren't those frantic, emotional cravings driven by stress or a desperate need for a quick dopamine hit. No, true physical hunger presents as maybe a little fatigue or slight lightheadedness, a naturally grumbling stomach, a gradual increase in intensity, and importantly, it can be satisfied by a wide variety of foods, not just highly palatable sugar or salt. Recognizing this difference is the ultimate sign of a truly balanced nervous system. You see, your body is a brilliantly designed ecosystem. It's not a machine to be starved, punished, or permanently kept in overdrive. By deeply understanding the science of your nervous system, you have the actual power to step off the gas pedal, engage your internal brakes, and rebuild your resilience from the absolute inside out. So, I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. If your gut is truly your second brain, what is it trying to tell you right now?